What is up, YouTube? ODST General back again, and this week, guys, we've got a bunch more Operation Trebuchet stuff for you guys. Starting us off on the weapons side, we've got some more of the MA37K from 4Key. Just a couple screenshots of this guy. Pretty slick looking weapon, though. Still looking forward to it, but not much else to say on it. A little bit neater, though, we have some video footage that I've actually been sitting on for at least a week or two of the M12 that got buried. So this is the fan and weapon that Doggo was working on here. So obviously it's in-game, not fully functional if that's not apparent, but different equipment and stuff is working for it. So pretty neat little video here of it. Just let that go for a second while it gets shown off here. Definitely a neat weapon, though. Definitely kind of coming together, kind of like those. Well, I can't really say it's smaller. It's actually a pretty large weapon, but I feel like it's going to be a good close quarters weapon. So I definitely dig that. I can appreciate that. Beyond that, though, I think we'll go ahead and move on to the next thing here. That's enough of that. Up next, we've got the Rhino, which has had continued development. Not much else to say on it besides that. Just a slick-looking vehicle, and definitely looking forward to that. That brings us into First Contact, and on the First Contact side of things, we have the Spirit dropship once again. Now, this week, not a whole lot to show off for it, but Vespade has made some new materials for it, so it looks a little bit sleeker, a little bit smoother, maybe a bit shinier. Nice look to it. Brings it a little bit more in line with some of the other Covenant assets. Might not be quite the same as all of the assets because some of them were treated the same as the Spirit originally was material-wise, so I think this is a better look, though, personally. Moving on, we've got a little bit more in the way of Covenant assets to show off. We've got the Covenant walls and Sniper Tower. I didn't even know the Sniper Tower was a thing, so this was probably the most exciting thing for me this week. So pretty sweet Sniper Tower. It works through means of a ladder, is my understanding. I'm assuming the ladder is just invisible. Maybe something else will be implemented like later on down the road, either like a script or something that like teleports you, or an actual grav lift. I don't think that's possible in Arma, but who knows. The walls are being shown off too. They do need some work. They don't actually touch the ground, and they actually need to sink into the ground somewhat, so that way if there's a hill or something, that it's not just like floating up in the air. Same thing with the Sniper Tower too. It needs a little bit of the model extended down past or below, so that way it's not actually hovering up in the air if it's on uneven terrain. Moving on, that brings us to community side content. So pretty much for all this, before you get going, I just want to say there's a strong chance none of this will make it in. Some of these are basically, that's the plan outright. Some of these are intended for release. I don't really know what we can expect or what we can't. All of it's still pretty early on. But starting us off, we've got continued coverage on Marstruck's boat. So we've got like an interior view of that, first person view. Then we've got a 3D model of it that's not textured out. You can see that he's taken a great amount of influence from the troop transport hog with the back seating. So, it was pretty similar to a Warthog, like a standard Warthog before with the seating, and then had like a second row of seats in the back. So this is a pretty big alteration for it. Probably makes a lot more sense to have it like this. You only need the one seat in the front realistically, but it does take it a little bit away from being a boat hog. But hey, if it works, it works. We do also get a slight texturing of that. This is a very early work in progress texture. It's not, it's like normals and stuff like that. So, nice little idea of what it's going to look like eventually, though. Beyond that, nothing else to say for that. But we do have some more Wet Navy stuff, as Sanchez has started the Halo 3 Longshore Carrier, which has been started like 2 or 3 times by other people and just never gets finished. So fingers crossed super far that this time we'll actually get this thing. This is one of my most wanted assets for Operation Trebuchet, is like Wet Navy assets, because obviously Wet Navy is a big part of Arma and there's no Halo content. And one thing I've always wanted Operation Trebuchet to do is have a bigger focus on assets that have been mentioned, but have never actually been shown off. So like the M6J pistol, the carrier, I mean, we've seen the carrier, but it's never actually been like practical or useful as a background prop. The boat that Marstruck's working on is, of course, another thing like that. It was concept art, but it never made it into games, with the exception of like a Reach prototype that never actually went anywhere. Continuing on, we've got some stuff from Milton, or a thing from Milton, which is the life preserver or whatever that the guy from the Halo Infinite trailer wears, that the pilot's wearing. So that's kind of a cool thing. Not too much to say about it, but a neat thing nonetheless. Then we've got Donnie. Donnie has probably some of the coolest stuff in this video, if not the coolest stuff. Starting us off, you're probably not seeing too well what that is, but the textures aren't applied to it. It's not supposed to be cloaking or anything, but that is a needler he is working on. Pretty awesome stuff. It does have some lock-on capabilities to infantry and stuff, so you can actually see the target designator in the center of the screen there. So in theory, that works like a rocket that can launch at people. You just press T and it'll lock onto somebody, so that would be pretty cool. He is also working on a Covenant Energy Sword. Pretty neat as well. Once again, not textured. That's why it's invisible. And probably the least likely of all of his stuff to make it in here is the Grunt, which is just horrifying nightmare fuel. But with that, guys, that is everything this week. So a little bit short of a video. I know for some of you guys that's going to suck, but I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. Like always, I want to know what you guys were most excited for from this video. Other than that, guys, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.